A breathtaking royal moment has sent shockwaves through palace watchers and reignited debate across the world. Cameras captured an extraordinary scene as Princess Catherine arrived dazzlingly, wearing a tiara deeply linked to the legacy of the late Queen, a symbol many believed would remain reserved for only the most significant occasions. As whispers spread through royal circles and every detail is examined, one question dominates the conversation. Was this simply a glamorous appearance or a powerful message about the future of the monarchy? But do you think Princess Catherine was honoring the late Queen's memory or signaling a new royal era? Share your thoughts in the comments below. To help us create more videos and uncover the latest royal developments, please subscribe. Princess Catherine's powerful royal return. A single appearance can sometimes say more than months of headlines, and that was exactly what happened when the Princess of Wales stepped into the grand halls of Windsor Castle for a glittering state banquet honoring the visiting French president. The evening was meant to celebrate diplomacy, yet before long, all eyes were fixed on one woman whose presence carried a story far greater than the event itself. For many in the room, the most striking detail was not the elegant crimson gown or the dazzling jewels that sparkled beneath the palace lights. It was the simple fact that Catherine was there. After a long period away from the royal spotlight, her appearance felt less like attendance and more like a powerful declaration. The woman who had faced one of the most difficult chapters of her life had returned to one of the monarchy's most glamorous stages. The significance of that moment stretched far beyond fashion. In the months following her last major royal engagements in late 2023, Catherine disappeared from public life to focus on her health. Surgery, a cancer diagnosis, and a demanding course of treatment forced her to step back from the duties that had long defined her public role. While royal events continued without her, questions, concern, and anticipation followed every update about her recovery. When she later spoke about the experience, she described a journey that had tested her family in ways few could imagine. Life, she explained, can change without warning, leaving even the strongest people searching for a path through uncertainty. Those words remained in the public consciousness long after they were spoken, making her eventual return feel deeply personal to millions who had followed her struggle. That is why her arrival at Windsor Castle on the evening of the 8th of July 2025 carried such weight. Wearing the famous Queen Mary's Lover's Knot tiara, a treasured piece long associated with royal history and once beloved by Diana, Princess of Wales, Catherine appeared to bridge the past and the future in a single, unforgettable image. The choice of jewels, paired with a gown created by the same designer behind her wedding dress, seemed carefully considered, rich with symbolism and memory. By that point, she had already announced the completion of chemotherapy and later confirmed that she was in remission. Yet seeing her confidently resume a fuller schedule of royal duties transformed those updates into reality. The banquet hosted by King Charles III and Queen Camilla became more than a formal occasion. It became the stage for one of the most emotional royal comebacks in recent memory. After months of uncertainty, Catherine did not simply return. She arrived with quiet confidence, wearing history on her head and resilience in every step, reminding the world that some royal moments are remembered not because of the jewels, but because of the journey behind them. The cameras captured every detail of the Windsor Castle state visit, yet one fleeting moment between Queen Camilla and Catherine, Princess of Wales, eclipsed all the grandeur. What really happened in that brief exchange, and why did it spark global debate despite the ceremony's elegance and carefully staged symbolism? Let's uncover the astonishing details. Camilla caught on camera. The cameras missed very little that evening, but one particular moment quickly captured the world's attention. As distinguished guests gathered inside Windsor Castle for the highly anticipated French state visit, millions of viewers watched every movement unfold in real time. It was an occasion filled with tradition, elegance, and symbolism. Yet a brief scene involving Queen Camilla and Catherine, Princess of Wales, would soon become the most discussed image of the night. At the center of the grand state banquet sat Queen Camilla beside King Charles III, dressed in an elegant ivory gown and adorned with magnificent sapphire jewels. The sparkling pieces she wore carried a history stretching back generations. Among them was the famous Belgian sapphire tiara, accompanied by a matching necklace and bracelet once treasured by Queen Elizabeth II. Those sapphires were part of a wedding gift presented to the young princess in 1947, making them far more than beautiful ornaments. They represented continuity, memory, and royal heritage. Yet as impressive as Camilla's appearance was, attention shifted the moment Catherine entered the room. Wearing the celebrated lover's knot tiara, a jewel deeply linked to Diana, Princess of Wales, she immediately became the focus of countless cameras. The tiara has long been associated with one of the most admired figures in modern royal history, and its appearance on Catherine carried powerful symbolic weight. In an instant, two royal women stood visually connected to two different chapters of the monarchy's evolving story. What followed quickly became the subject of widespread discussion. Television footage appeared to capture Camilla's reaction as Catherine arrived, lasting only a brief moment, but enough to spark intense speculation. Viewers replayed the scene repeatedly, searching for meaning in a subtle expression that was never officially explained. Some interpreted it as quiet admiration for Catherine's confidence and composure, noting how naturally she carried the historic jewel. Others believed it reflected recognition of Diana's enduring legacy, which continues to shape public perception of the royal family. A few suggested it hinted at the complex emotional history that still surrounds the monarchy's inner circle. The fascination was understandable, given the context. For decades, Camilla's path to public acceptance had been closely scrutinized, marked by gradual transition into a respected royal role. Catherine, by contrast, had steadily risen to become one of the monarchy's most admired modern figures, often associated with continuity, elegance, and stability. Their shared presence that evening created a striking visual contrast between past and present, tradition and transition, memory and renewal. By the time the banquet ended on the 8th of July, the conversation had already spread across television broadcasts, newspapers, and social media platforms worldwide. Whether the captured expression revealed admiration, reflection, or something more personal remains unknown. What is certain is that a single fleeting moment transformed an already historic evening into one of the most discussed royal scenes of the year. What is it about Princess Catherine wearing the legendary lover's knot tiara that instantly commands attention? And why does this historic piece carry such emotional weight across generations of royal women, symbolizing not just beauty, but a deeper legacy of triumph, heartbreak, and enduring royal tradition? Let's find out. Catherine and lover's knot tiara. The moment Princess Catherine steps into a room wearing the famous lover's knot tiara, attention seems to shift instantly. It is not simply the sparkle of diamonds that captures the eye. It is the powerful story resting upon her head, a story woven through generations of royal women, historic occasions, personal triumphs, and moments of heartbreak. Few pieces of jewelry in royal history hold such deep meaning, which is why many regard it as far more than a beautiful ornament. To many observers, it represents a living connection to the past. Long before Catherine became associated with the tiara, it had already secured its place within royal history. Created in 1913 by the renowned jeweler Gerard for Queen Mary, the piece was inspired by an older family treasure once owned by her grandmother, Princess Augusta of Hesse. Determined to preserve that cherished design, Queen Mary commissioned a new version and even sacrificed some of her own jewelry to make it possible. The result was a masterpiece that blended family tradition with royal grandeur. Over the decades, the tiara quietly witnessed the evolution of the monarchy. It adorned royal figures during some of the most important periods in modern royal history, becoming a symbol of continuity during times of change. When Queen Mary passed away in 1953, the treasured piece was inherited by Queen Elizabeth II, further strengthening its status as one of the crown's most significant heirlooms. Yet it was another royal woman who would forever transform the tiara into a global icon. In 1981, the young Princess Diana received the lover's knot tiara on loan following her marriage to Prince Charles. Although she reportedly found it heavy and uncomfortable, often causing headaches, she wore it repeatedly at major events around the world. Photographs of Diana framed by the tiara's elegant arches and shimmering pearls became unforgettable images of a generation. Through moments of joy, pressure, and personal struggle, the tiara remained closely linked to her public identity. After Diana returned the piece following her divorce in 1996 and her tragic death the following year, the tiara largely disappeared from public view. For many years, it seemed destined to remain a treasured relic of the past. Then, in 2015, it re-emerged when Queen Elizabeth II loaned it to Catherine, the wife of Prince William. The choice immediately sparked memories of Diana, while also creating a new chapter in the tiara's journey. Today, whenever Catherine wears the lover's knot tiara, she carries more than a century of royal heritage. The piece connects Queen Mary, Queen Elizabeth II, Diana, and Catherine in a single unbroken story. That enduring legacy is what makes this tiara feel almost sacred, a symbol not merely of royalty, but of history itself. Was Catherine's Windsor Castle appearance in March 2026 merely a display of royal elegance, or something far deeper? What message was hidden behind the crimson gown and diamonds? And how does each carefully chosen appearance reveal a quiet struggle for stability within a monarchy facing a period of intense transition? Let's unravel the details. Catherine's return to royal power. The sparkle of a tiara can capture attention, but what Catherine, Princess of Wales, has been communicating through her recent appearances goes far beyond jewels and ceremony. Each public appearance has carried a deeper meaning, revealing not only her personal resilience, but also the monarchy's determination to project stability during a period of transition. When Catherine arrived at Windsor Castle for the state banquet honoring Nigeria's President and First Lady in March of 2026, many saw a glamorous royal figure dressed in crimson and diamonds. Yet the significance of that moment reached far beyond fashion. Wearing Queen Mary's lover's knot tiara, one of her most recognizable royal treasures, Catherine appeared confident, composed, and firmly back at the center of royal life. The image resonated because it came after a difficult period that had tested both her strength and public expectations. Only days before that banquet, the princess spoke openly about the realities of recovery, explaining that life after treatment can be more challenging than many people imagine. Her remarks offered a rare glimpse into the effort required to return to public duty. Seen in that context, her appearance at Windsor was not simply another royal engagement. It became a symbol of perseverance and a reminder of how much she had overcome. The significance becomes even clearer when viewed alongside the previous year. In 2025, Catherine made 3 notable tiara appearances during state visits from France, the United States, and Germany. Such a concentration of high-profile diplomatic events was unusual. In fact, Britain had not hosted 3 state visits within a single year since the late 1980s, during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Catherine attended every one of them, signaling that she was steadily reclaiming her place at the heart of royal duties. One of the most striking moments came when she was seated beside President Donald Trump during a state banquet. Less than 2 years earlier, such a scene would have seemed almost impossible, as she quietly faced serious health challenges away from public view. Her presence at that table demonstrated not only recovery, but renewed confidence in carrying out responsibilities that are essential to the crown's diplomatic role. For the monarchy, these appearances matter greatly. State banquets are designed to strengthen relationships between nations, but they also send messages at home. A future king and queen who appear united, committed, and capable help reinforce public confidence in the institution they represent. Catherine's return has therefore become more than a personal success story. With every carefully chosen appearance, she is showing that her role has not diminished. Instead, it is growing stronger, and with it, the image of a monarchy preparing for its next chapter. In a monarchy where every jewel speaks louder than words, what hidden meanings separate Queen Camilla and Catherine, Princess of Wales, despite appearing side by side in royal ceremonies? And how do these silent symbols reveal deeper tensions, shifting expectations, and a power balance the public rarely notices? Let's dig into the details. Diamonds of power, memory, and expectation. In the modern royal landscape, jewels are never just decoration. They are language, memory, and silent verdicts worn in public view. Within this world, 2 women stand beneath the same crown of attention, yet their stories move in different directions. Queen Camilla and Catherine, Princess of Wales. At first glance, their public appearances in royal ceremonies may seem alike, But the meaning behind each diamond and tiara carries separate weight, shaped by time, memory, and expectation. For Catherine, Princess of Wales, royal jewels feel like quiet steps into a prepared future. The lover's knot tiara, first given to her in 2015 by Queen Elizabeth II, is more than a gift of elegance. It places her inside a living chain of royal women, linking her subtly to Queen Mary and Princess Diana. Each appearance becomes a reminder of continuity, as if her place in history is already being gently written before it fully arrives. Her image is not rushed, but carefully formed, built on anticipation. When she appears in public wearing inherited pieces, the message is not only tradition, but also readiness, as though the monarchy is shaping a role that will one day define her completely. Queen Camilla's story moves through a different kind of memory. Before her marriage into the monarchy, public opinion once surrounded her with controversy. But over time, she stepped into a position defined by endurance and acceptance. Her jewels, including sapphire pieces closely associated with Queen Elizabeth II from 1947, carry echoes of a long royal past. They are not just personal treasures, but inherited symbols of authority, passed forward through duty and institutional continuity. What she wears reflects a journey marked by persistence, where recognition came slowly and steadily rather than through expectation. Each appearance reinforces a sense of arrival, earned through time rather than inherited assumption. When placed side by side, the contrast becomes clear without a word being spoken. One figure reflects a future already anticipated. The other reflects a role shaped and confirmed through experience. Camilla represents permanence achieved through passage, while Catherine reflects destiny, waiting just ahead. In shared royal appearances, nothing needs to be explained. The cameras do not simply capture fabric or diamonds. They capture meaning layered in silence. Even stillness becomes part of the message, shaping how the world reads continuity, authority, and the quiet power of the crown across time and memory. In a ballroom of crystal light where every gesture is calculated, Catherine's calm presence stood unshaken despite subtle shifts in power unfolding around her. But what unseen forces were quietly reshaping the atmosphere? And how did this perfectly staged elegance begin to conceal a deeper recalibration no guest could openly name? Let's uncover the intriguing details. Catherine commands, ballroom silent power. Under crystal light suspended above the ballroom, order looked effortless, yet nothing in the room truly rested on chance. What appeared seamless from a distance was a structure built from careful planning, measured timing, and controlled movement, where every entrance and pause carried meaning beyond ceremony. In that charged atmosphere, Catherine moved with calm assurance, her steps unbroken by the silent recalibration unfolding around her. She greeted guests with ease, her expression steady as if the shifting dynamics had no claim on her composure. Without force or announcement, she became the point toward which conversations naturally leaned, drawing ambassadors and senior figures into her orbit, as though the room had decided her position in advance. Nearby, Prince William remained close not as decoration, but as structure, subtly adjusting his stance whenever cameras or officials shifted direction. His presence formed an unseen line of protection, ensuring she was never left visually exposed. In every captured frame, his proximity reinforced a sense of continuity, as though the future had already placed itself quietly behind her. Yet the arrangement of attention was not uniform. Camilla, equally composed and fully engaged in duty, found her path through the evening shaped by quieter interruptions. Introductions arrived at precise moments, officials stepped in with courteous diversions, and each attempt to remain within the most visible circles dissolved into polite redirection. Nothing was denied outright, yet nothing stayed fixed in her favor. The ballroom itself, possibly echoing earlier gatherings in places like Windsor in the year 2024, seemed to remember hierarchies without speaking them. Movement replaced instruction, and positioning became the most decisive force in the room. Even the cameras responded by adjusting their focus, as if guided by instinct rather than command. Catherine's visibility grew not through pursuit, but through convergence as clusters of conversation naturally formed around her. She remained unhurried, allowing the evening to settle around her, rather than chasing its attention. Meanwhile, the edges of the room quietly expanded for others, creating distance that was not declared but felt. No single moment defined the shift. There were no raised voices, no visible disputes, only the slow rearrangement of space and gaze. What emerged was a contrast shaped entirely by placement, one figure increasingly centered, another gradually offset, both maintaining grace within an environment that rewarded positioning as much as presence itself. By the time the evening softened toward its close, the ballroom no longer felt like a single stage, but a map of influence drawn in motion, where visibility had become the most silent form of authority, and every step had already chosen its meaning long before it was taken, all unfolding without announcement, yet understood by everyone present there. Catherine's return to public royal life has been marked by silence, symbolism, and carefully chosen appearances, with each tiara reflecting a deeper layer of meaning. But what do these royal jewels truly reveal about her journey since 2011? And how does each appearance quietly reshape the story of the future queen? Let's find out. Crown of memory and quiet power. The story surrounding the future queen is shaped not only by ceremony and tradition, but also by silence, symbols, and the heavy echo of history carried in full view. Since the year 2024, the Princess of Wales, Catherine, has reappeared in public royal life with a carefully measured presence that feels both restrained and quietly strong. At the heart of this renewed visibility sits a single object that quietly defines continuity and change within the monarchy: the royal tiara. Her journey since marrying Prince William in 2011 has been marked by 4 significant tiaras, each reflecting a different layer of meaning and identity. The Cartier halo first introduced her to royal symbolism on her wedding day in London, offering a soft entry into expectation and heritage. The lotus flower tiara, later seen at state occasions, reinforced her place in a modern image of the crown that continues to evolve. The Strathmore rose, worn during a state banquet in Seoul in 2023, quietly echoed the memory of the Queen Mother. Yet the lover's knot remains the most talked about, carried through generations from Queen Mary to Queen Elizabeth II, and later Princess Diana. It represents admiration and loss at once, a fragile bridge between romance, duty, and memory. As Catherine's public role deepened during her return to duties in 2025, her appearances at events such as the United States State Banquet at Windsor Castle reflected subtle transformation. Her styling became softer, her expressions more natural, and even her approach to tiaras shifted toward quiet individuality rather than strict formality. While public attention focused on royal elegance, another quieter narrative unfolded within palace life, centered on distance, exclusion, and silent decisions. Following an internal review, Laura Lopes experienced a gradual removal from royal proximity that avoided public confrontation but changed her access entirely. Guest lists shifted without explanation, communication lines fell quiet, and security privileges that once ensured seamless entry were quietly withdrawn. In royal circles, absence itself often becomes the most decisive form of judgment, expressed not in words, but in distance. Ultimately, the monarchy appears as a delicate balance of visible ceremony and unseen adjustments, where meaning is often communicated through gesture rather than statement, and where every symbol, from tiaras in public halls to silence behind closed doors, carries layered significance shaped by time, memory, and expectation, leaving observers to read between lines of tradition and modern change that continues to evolve while remaining anchored in history and public expectation across generations and places such as London and Windsor Castle, and beyond into future royal identity formation legacy. Behind this composed public image, what pressures inside the palace walls are quietly shaping King Charles III's every decision? And why does silence seem to carry more authority than speech itself? As duty tightens its grip and balance becomes fragile, what unseen struggles are unfolding behind closed doors that could redefine the unity of the royal household? Stay glued to find out. Inside Charles's royal silent duty. Inside the palace walls, silence often carries more meaning than speech, shaping decisions that never reach public explanation. What appears as calm order is often built from careful restraint, where every gesture is measured and every silence has weight. Within this environment, King Charles III observes the steady pressure of responsibility, aware that the unity of the royal household depends less on agreement and more on balance. From public duties across England to private discussions behind closed doors, he moves through a world where duty defines survival. In public, his presence remains composed and familiar. Even during a small outdoor engagement where an unexpected moment briefly disrupted proceedings, he responded with ease and quiet humor, reinforcing the idea that stability is performed through composure rather than perfection. Yet behind this steadiness lies the constant effort of adjustment, as internal boundaries within the institution continue to shift in response to scrutiny and expectation. Within this same evolving landscape, earlier developments from 2024 still echo through the structure of the monarchy, influencing how roles are shaped and perceived. Some within the wider circle strengthen their position through consistency, while others navigate influence through careful strategy. Over time, it becomes clear that authority does not always need loud expression to remain intact. Far from public attention, in the private spaces of Windsor, Catherine continues to occupy her role with quiet precision. After a formal evening event, she is said to have withdrawn into solitude, the weight of ceremony replaced by stillness. There, before a mirror, she carefully removed a tiara that had marked her presence in the public eye. The gesture held no drama, only reflection and control. This private moment reveals what public appearances cannot fully express. The monarchy is not shaped only on balconies or at ceremonies, but also in these unseen intervals where identity is softened and recalibrated. Catherine does not appear as someone concluding conflict, but as someone moving within a continuing process, where nothing fully settles. Even as expectations evolve toward the future, marked by the growing sense of 2026, the institution continues to adjust itself quietly. Pressures do not disappear, they transform, shifting into new forms that require patience rather than reaction. In this space between tradition and change, continuity becomes the strongest language of all, and the crown endures not through certainty, but through constant, careful adaptation. Beneath every public appearance, there remains a quiet architecture of restraint, memory, and duty that continues to shape the future of the monarchy with careful patience and enduring discipline, while time steadily redraws its quiet boundaries without ever breaking its enduring form. So what do you think happened when Camilla was seen as Catherine arrived in the late Queen's tiara? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.